Okay, and we are live. Hey, Jennifer, thanks for tuning in. Always great to see you. And just going to give it a few minutes before we get rolling, just to give a couple other people a chance to join, and then we'll go through the usual whatnot. Hey, Liz, how's it going? Good to see you. Okay, let's see. All right, well, I'm going to start things off and then we will get into it. So, first off, big thank you to my patrons Jennifer Goupil, Tangle14, Travis Carney, Anthony, Rachel, Derek, Sea of Dead Faces, Violet, Jill, Archangel, Charlie, and Misty. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much again for all your support. Can't thank you enough. If anyone wants to follow me over on Patreon, patreon.com/Clint Carney, I do weekly updates over there, and you can see a lot of my paintings as they progress and so forth. Let's see, Undead of Night has joined us. Hey, hello. Thanks for joining. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so let's start things off. First off, what are you watching? Just for new people that have tuned in, this is Art Autopsy. I'm Clint Carney, your host, and every other Thursday at 7 p.m. You'll join me, and I create a new painting for you, and I encourage everyone at home to make some art right alongside me. It doesn't have to be a painting. It could be whatever your medium of choice is. Just gives you an excuse to make art on a reoccurring basis, so I hope you'll continue to join me and make some art. And definitely, if you are making art while you watch this, please chime in the comments. Tell me and the other people watching what you're creating, what mediums you're working with, and let's get a conversation going. I'll try to keep things going as I paint, but I also rely a lot on you guys to talk to each other as well to keep things lively, because my focus is going to be on the painting. So let's talk about some past viewer highlights. So, I gotta hit record on my... One moment. I got another camera going on here that records for my time lapses and stuff, and I forgot to hit record and it turned off on me. Oh, you know what? I have just come to the conclusion, just the realization, that I haven't hooked up my microphone. So I assume you guys are hearing me through some kind of device, but let's improve things a bit. Sorry, I am scatterbrained today. Let's see if I can get this rolling. Now we're going to pick up where we left off. Check. Everyone hear me? Someone leave a comment if the audio just got better now that the mic is on. I think we should be good to go. Anyone at all, leave a comment if you can hear me. This is a highly professional podcast here. Okay, audio is good. Audio is better. All right, awesome. Thank you, Jennifer and Liz. Okay, let's get into some viewer highlights. So, if you are making art during this live stream, I highly encourage you to at the end of the stream, or even in the weeks, anytime in between now and the next live stream, send me a picture of what you've created during the live stream. My email address is clintcarneycreates@gmail.com, and I feature art from my viewers on the upcoming streams. Oh, hi Bill, thanks for joining, man. So without further ado, let me show you what some of my viewers created during the last live stream. So first off, we have another amazing bug by Liz, who goes by the artist name of Phoenix. Just another cool piece. She's been doing a whole series of these cool bugs during these Art Autopsy live streams, and this one is in particular pretty darn cool. So She's in the chat right now if anyone wants to learn more about it. Liz, fill us in on the details of this piece. It's pretty darn awesome. Now our next viewer highlight, before I show it to you, I was vending at an art fair this last weekend. Wasn't a lot of people at the art fair, but I did have a great time. But Jennifer, who's watching right now, showed up to the art fair, and she brought along with her this amazing piece that she had been working on during the Art Autopsy live stream, and I'm going to show it now. It is a felt piece, and it's just awesome. Check it out. Isn't that crazy? So this is her rendition of the character from my painting A Chance Encounter on the Journey Home. You'll see in the backdrop there, there's a print, a small print of that painting. Jennifer actually has the original in her collection, and I was very honored that she created this character in felt. She really just did a fantastic job. So show her some love in the comments. Let her know how much you love it. I love it. And then she asked me what the character was in this painting, what the name of the character was. And I hadn't come up with a name for the character, so I asked her to name it. So now that character, thanks to Jennifer, is officially named Gwen. So fantastic job. And yeah, everyone who is tuning in, make some art. Send me pictures of what you create during the live stream. Again, it's clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. Okay, now I just have a little bit of promo to show you, and then we're going to get into painting. I promise, it's coming up. So I just did another update on my website, clintcarney.com, and I added a bunch of cool canvas prints, and I just wanted to showcase them because they're brand new. I have a few here in hand. I'm going to show you guys. It's wrapped in plastic, so just for protection, but these turned out really cool. I'm really happy with the way they turned out. It comes with a hanger built in and little rubber feet, but just the print quality is amazing. Let me show you a couple of these that I have here. Here's one of Osriel and Red Ribbon, and here's one of Gangrene Jean. Yeah, just really happy with the way these came out. I'm releasing these as open edition prints, which means they're coming directly from the printer. They're not signed or numbered, but that allows me to keep the price point down, and they look really cool on a shelf all hanging next to each other. So yeah, anyway, if you want to support the channel or my artistic endeavors, there's another way to do it. Let's get on with it. During the last live stream, I started a painting, and that one started as me looking away from the canvas and just doodling a random shape, and then turning that random doodle into a piece of art. Now this will be the first time, let me show it to you, right, and then I'll talk about it. Boom. This is how it is shaping up right now. This is the first time I made it to the next Art Autopsy without having finished the piece. As much as I strive to get these finished in between each new episode. I'm just not ready to call this one finished. It just doesn't have the detail in it that I want just yet. I'm going to bring it a little closer to the camera so you can see kind of what's going on here. So there's some fun stuff happening with it, but there's some things that are still bugging the crap out of me with this. It's been a busy week. I've been working on some movie and TV show projects, and also, as well as doing another painting for an upcoming art show, and I just couldn't get it finished in time. I did put about, I don't know, 8 or 9 hours into it, but it's still not after the live stream, but it's still not done yet. So anyway, work in progress. Let's move along and let's start a new painting. What do you guys say? Oh, I got some comments here. Let me see what you guys are saying. Looks like somebody from Australia. Is this one dangerous to humans also? Colors. Awesome. Oh, thanks, Bill. Glad you dig it. Undead of Night, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Is it dangerous to humans also? Are you referring to the mushrooms or to this guy? This guy, definitely dangerous to humans. Chester, hey Clint Carney, both me and my dad are huge fans of you and your band System Sin. Awesome, Chester. Thanks so much. I appreciate you watching. It means a lot to me. That's really cool. Um, Jennifer says the splayed out eye is really great. Thank you very much. It's kind of like a little flower happening behind this and some leaf coming out of it. That's again, it's not done. Um, Oh, I see. Now I recognize the context of Undead of Night's comment was talking about the bug that Liz drew. So yes. All right, here we go. Let's get on with the painting. This is how it starts. Got a blank canvas, and once again, as much as I sometimes like to have these things pre-planned, today again I am shooting from the hip, going in completely blind, and we're just going to see what we create. I'm actually out of black acrylic, so for the underpainting, I'm going to be doing it in a burnt umber palette this time. Doesn't really matter to me though, because the underpainting gets covered up with the oil paint eventually as I move on. This is just the drawing side of things. So let's see what this painting wants to become. I have no idea. That's the one of the fun things about art. You know, you can just sit down in front of a blank canvas and start drawing something, and didn't really have to know what it's going to be. And it may start as one thing and turn into something else. Starting with a head shape, maybe it's a skull shape. Same thing, yes. And I just rough it in at this point, right? I don't know what the thing's going to become, so don't get too hung up on this rough sketch here. Okay, so it's starting out as a skull. Will it stay a skull? We just don't know. Too early to tell. Now, there are, if you were just learning to paint or still, well, I'm still learning to paint, you know what I mean? I should always be a student and always trying to improve. But the way I paint is just one way to do it. There are plenty of ways to do it. You don't have to follow the same steps I do. A lot of artists don't do this underpainting technique I do. It's just a technique that I find myself returning to because I'm comfortable with it. But certainly try out different things and find the thing that works best for you, and then do a lot of it. Do it every day as much as you're able to. Okay, so we have a skull. Let's give it a friend. Maybe you'll know what this is going to become here if you've watched me paint before. This is a little buddy hanging out on top of the skull. I'm still not sure I'm going to keep that a skull, but I'm going to squeeze out some white onto my palette now so I can start drawing things a bit more. Let's see. Oh, Elizabeth says she loves the painting. Thank you so much. Chet Czar says he does. Let's see. Chet says I do too. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. Julie B says, what did I miss in the first 13 minutes? Julie, I showcased some of the drawings from some of the art from our viewers. I encourage you to go back and watch it from the beginning later, just to see what everyone created, because there's some really cool stuff from Liz and Jennifer again, who are thus far our mega stars with contributing to the Art Autopsy viewer art experience. Okay, so this little critter, you know, originally I was thinking is going to be a squirrel, kind of just like flopped out on top, and it might still be a squirrel, but I might actually turn it into some other kind of critter. I've done a lot of squirrels lately. You guys have seen me paint squirrels ad nauseum. Maybe you want to see something different. Maybe you don't. Okay, skull, squirrel. It's I don't know if we're gonna stick with that. Yeah, so I have been just insanely busy for, I think I'm gonna, well, I don't know. I think I'm gonna veer away from it being a skull and more of a character than a skull. So let's follow that instinct for a bit and see where it takes us. We might come back to a skull later. I don't know. There are no rules. You're figuring it out as I figure it out. Anyway, yeah, I've been just insanely busy this week. Hollywood has been very slow lately. For those of you who don't know, I work in the film industry primarily. It's been very slow, but the last couple weeks for me have just really picked up, and I have, I'm working on 2 feature films, a TV show, a music video, a short film, on top of all of my personal music and painting pursuits. So it's been busy. Hence the not having premeditated what I was going to paint today. But sometimes those are the funnest ones, right? When you don't know how it's going to be. Okay, so I lied. It stayed a skull, but now it's a skull with eyes. It's kind of a fun little character. Let's see. But maybe we're going to give him some, like a human neck and body. It'll be more like a guy who's had his face torn off. That's fun, right? We love that. You know, I love this stage of a painting. This is why on Art Autopsy at least, at least so far since I've been doing these live streams, I bring you in at the beginning of a painting, so you can see how it comes together from the ground up, as opposed to bringing you on board when the painting's almost done, or I'm just refining it. I just feel like this is more interesting to watch, just to see how it shapes up. If you disagree, if you would rather see me just noodle away for hours on end adding detail to a painting or whatever, let me know, because of course I'm open to the possibility that I have no clue what viewers want to see. Let's see, there's got to be, okay, so this squirrel-esque creature here, which may or may not stay a squirrel, he's going to be looking at something down here, right? I want him distracted by here, while the skull's eyes are on us as the viewer. So something, and I don't know what, something is going to go right here, and then we're going to do something with the background. Let's just throw in a horizon line, say right about there, arbitrarily. That could change, and something's going to happen in the background. All right. Let's start figuring this out. What this little critter up top is going to look like. Let's see. Trying to keep up with the comments here. Oh, Chet does underpainting. Yes, that's right. And Chet, by the way, I'm sure you guys all know Chet at this point. He's just an incredible artist. But if you don't, go check out his work because he's awesome and his art is awesome. And you can also find him on Patreon. So go check him out. Um, do, 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 do. Liz said we bought a zoo again and Art of the Dead. Oh, nice. Excellent. Chet asks, are you using a medium or a terps or something? Chet, right now I'm just doing a sketch in acrylic just because it dries fast and I can get to, we can get past the underpainting stage faster. So eventually I'll be moving on to oil, and in that case I'll be using liquid as the medium with terpenoid. But right now it's just acrylic and water. Let's see. The critter looks like a monitor lizard with a squirrel tail. Undead at Night says your underpainting has a lot of personality already. Oh, thank you. Oh, and Donna has joined us. Great to hear. Hopefully things continue to pick up. It's cool seeing in the beginning and like sketchboard. Yay! Thanks, Donna. Thanks for joining. Okay. Let's figure this guy out right here. To squirrel or not to squirrel? I like Julie saying that it looked like a monitor lizard. Maybe we'll go that route. I do like a good monitor lizard. Let's see if I can paint a monitor lizard from memory. I don't think I've ever painted one before. Actually, let's not do a monitor. Well, maybe it'll turn out to be a monitor. We'll see. But I'm thinking, I don't know if you guys know what a skink is. It's a type of lizard, and they're really cool. I used to work at an aquarium shop years ago, just out of high school, and we had fish and reptiles, and I really loved the skinks because they were just really friendly. They almost had like personalities of rats. Again, I don't know that I can. I'm calling on a memory from almost 30 years ago, so I don't know if I can remember what they look like. But let's just say that'll be the inspiration, and it will probably just turn into some random lizard, not necessarily the one I have somewhere buried in the recesses of my imagination. Yeah, my other favorite kind of lizard that we had at the shop were fat-tailed geckos, also called leopard geckos. If those are two different things and I'm fucking that up, let me know. But I think they're the same thing. At least we use those terms interchangeably at the old fish store that I worked at. But they were just super mellow and pretty cool. Yeah, the skinks looked kind of like a snake with arms. And I think they had little arms. I'm not real sure. So my background color right here, by the way, incidentally, I just laid down a green-gray just as kind of a neutral tone. So I have some left on my palette, and I'm just going to use it to erase some of my bad drawing lines. And I think of the acrylic underpainting. By the time this painting is finished and has all of the layers of paint on there that it's going to have, there will be no trace of acrylic paint left. You won't see it. It's just there where I'm establishing it. I think of it as a sketch, like as if this is what I use instead of pencil, is acrylic paint. And when I'm not live painting, I actually do this stage in oil because I can be a little more patient with it, but I don't think that you guys want to sit there and watch oil paint dry in between layers. So in the interest of getting something on the canvas sooner than later, for these live paintings I use acrylic. Okay, this is feeling better arm-wise for the skink. I don't know what their feet look like. Again, I'm just making shit up, and what I will likely do after the live stream, because this painting, you know how it goes, I get as much done as I can, but a lot of times, or all the time, I'm still going to put in another 5 to 15 plus hours on a painting before I'm ready to call it done. So probably what I'll do after the live stream at some point, as I come back to the painting, is I'll just pull up some photo references and see how, double check my anatomy on this lizard. I already messed that up right there, because I don't think they have curly tails. I think it's just a pretty straight tail. So yeah, again, if this wasn't a live stream, I would probably just go right to Google Images and look at pictures right now, but it's more fun to see what stupid thing my brain thinks that these things look like without the reference. Oh, Chet had a skink in his house a few months ago. Ah, oh, should have kept it, man. They're awesome. Oh, Julie says the legs and feet are tiny. Oh, good to know. Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind. I'll work on that. Yeah, okay. We'll come back to the skink. Let's see. Let's figure out his wardrobe here. I'm gonna give him like he's gonna be wearing a suit, right? So first, let's just give him a shirt collar. And a tie. Again, just blocking in big shapes. All sketchy and random at this point, or blocky. And there's his tie. Let's see, should he have a jacket on, or should it just be like a nice shirt and tie type deal? Let's start with the shirt and tie. We might add a jacket later if he's cold. I mean, he doesn't have any skin, so very well could be cold. We're gonna find out. We'll let him tell us what he wants to be wearing as the painting progresses. So, also, again, if you guys watched before, you know the drill, but if you haven't, if anybody has anything that they want to promote, or tell anybody else in the chat where people can check out your art, feel free. This stream is just all about encouraging people to make art, and part of making art doesn't have to be, but it can be, trying to sling that art. Get other people to see what you're doing, and hopefully support your cause. So if you got any links or any art shows coming up, drop it in the comments. Tell everyone about it. The next thing that I have on the plate, well, I'm submitting to, I told you guys in the last stream, I'm working on a piece to submit to Descanso Gardens. They're doing a show. I got invited to submit to. Excited about that. Hopefully they'll accept my piece. It's still a work in progress. I got to finish that by a week from tomorrow to make the submission deadline. So hopefully I get in. That's an unknown, but worth worth a shot because I always wanted to show at their gallery. And then other than that, I have a Hyena Gallery is going to be doing another horror market, which is like a little mini convention at the Mayflower Club in North Hollywood, California. And they've done 2 of those so far. I've vended at both of them, and it just had a great time both times. So I'm going to do that again. That's at the end of August. I think it's August 30th, if I remember correctly. All the details are on my website, though. So, okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go with his face is torn off and we see his skull underneath. Therefore, let's give Buddy an ear here. You know, I say his face is torn off, right? But I'm gonna try not to get too graphic with this one. I say that now, but do I mean it? I don't know. But I do know that the more graphic I get on YouTube, the less people they show my videos to. So I try to skirt that line between horror and fantasy. So we'll give him some hair. And maybe his hairline ain't what it used to be, because I want to keep that lizard sitting on top of his bald pate. And then, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna leave the ear, I'm gonna leave the hair. I'm not gonna add torn flesh in yet. We're gonna think about what that is. And then again, we want now the lizard's going to be looking at something. Now that I changed it to a lizard, his eye line's a little more down here. So I almost want to bring his hand up here, and he's holding something. So let's see. Well, we'll figure that out. But maybe he's going to be holding a lollipop or something. Lizards like lollipops, right? I don't know. We're figuring it out as we go. Thanks, Chet. I appreciate the comments, man. Appreciate you watching. Oh, speaking of, let's talk more Chet. There's an art show coming up at Copro Nason Gallery in Santa Monica, which is probably the best dark art curated gallery that you will find around, at least one of my favorites. I don't want to besmirch the other awesome dark art galleries that are out there too, because I do love anyone who's slinging and supporting dark art. But they got a heavy metal tribute show coming up that Chet's going to be in. You can see his painting on his Patreon, so join that and check it out. But it looks like it's going to be a cool show. I don't know who all's in it yet. If anyone wants to look it up and they can tell me, I do know that Christopher Ulrich is in it because I saw him posted on Instagram. So he's a badass. Chet's a badass. So it's going to be a cool show, and I am going to try my damnedest to actually make it to the opening, even though historically I'm awful about going to such things, but I'm going to make every effort. Okay, I think that's sketch-wise. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm gonna refine it just a little more in the acrylic, and then we're gonna switch on over to oil. I'm fairly confident that his legs don't joint that way, like it's kind of like cricket legs, but I kind of don't mind it. And now I'm kind of like thinking like maybe it's like part skink, part cricket. So we're gonna find out what this thing turns into. Oh, and then Julie here is commenting on the skink legs. Back skink legs should be close to the same size, and they don't rotate like that. I can even try to coerce Squiggle into the correct pose. Thank you. It's funny you mentioned that, but now I'm kind of really stoked on this idea of giving him cricket legs and back. Uh, we'll see. We'll see. I'm just going to leave it for now, but I appreciate the comment for sure. Uh, this is what happens when I paint from imagination. Well, you can see that in a lot of my work. The anatomy isn't always quite there, but you work it enough, and then sometimes things that you intend to be one creature morph into others, and other times they end up being recognizable after all with enough noodling. But thanks, Chet. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it out. That's the thing. I live in a suburb of LA. It's kind of far away from everything, but I too often let that be an excuse not to venture out into the world, and I'm trying to be better at that sort of thing. It's easy to do. It's not leave the house, but I always feel good when I do go to art shows and get to meet the artists and see friends in person and stuff. Nothing beats that. Oh, and if you haven't seen it already, I just released a time lapse for the painting that I did based on this mask. I think you can see the mask in the camera. There's a delay, so I can't see. Anyway, I just released a time lapse of that. It's on my YouTube channel. Super fun. It's like 10 hours of painting condensed into 40 seconds or so. You know, it's funny, the YouTube shorts do a lot better than the long form ones, so I might just keep it as a short time lapse unless anyone is really dying to see a 10-minute version of it or something where I talk my way through the painting, but I feel like I've done a lot of those lately, and I need to be doing some more interesting stuff on YouTube so I don't lose my audience. I do have a few collaboration projects coming up on my YouTube channel, just collaborating with some other cool YouTubers who do similar but different things than I do. I don't want to spoil it with telling you exactly what that's going to be, but you know, there'll be some new stuff. I'm always filming a new YouTube video. It takes me a while to get them out there because I put a lot of work into them, but there's always one in progress. Now he's kind of starting to have like a Hatbox Ghost vibe a bit. Not intentionally, just kind of shaping up that way. I swung by Hyena Gallery today in good old Burbank, California. Unfortunately, the owner and curator, Bill Schaefer, was not in, but his lovely wife Sherry was, so I got to talk to her for a while. Cool gallery, lots of cool art in there. They do have some of my originals on display as well. So if you're in the Burbank area, swing by, support a cool local shop. And you might notice even right at this stage, like I'm not being super precious about the light source on here. I haven't really committed to that yet. It's not much of a light source at all happening at the moment, but I will figure it out as I go. Again, it has been a chaotic week, and I'm just relaxing, having a good time painting. And then when the live stream is over, back to the chaos. I gotta do 7 more illustrations tonight after this live stream for a pickup tomorrow for a TV show I'm working on. So it is going to be a late one, but it's good because since it's been a while since I've done an illustration job for a TV show. I used to get that kind of work all the time, but that I think is one example of how ye old AI has cut into my income. But that's all right. You just gotta innovate and adapt as things change. But I was happy to get a job again, and if I can't talk, with the movie industry stuff, can't really publicly talk about a lot of this stuff until it gets closer to release. So if you're interested in hearing about my new projects and stuff as I'm able to talk about them, head on over to patreon.com/Clint Carney, and you can hear all about that and find out when and where you can see the latest film and TV projects that I'm involved in. Oh, I do have one thing that I can talk about right now, which is I'm going to be directing a new music video for the band Alice. Alice is a band that shares members with my band, with System Sin. Tosh and Scott and Steve from System Sin are in Alice. In fact, I should say Tosh and Scott and Steve from Alice are in System Sin, because that's really kind of their main band. They just slum it in my band from time to time. But they're fantastic people. I love them to death. And they've got a new album coming out this fall. And I am directing a video for the song called Say My Name, which is, in my humble opinion, my favorite song that they've ever written. It's really cool and epic sounding, and I have just a crazy concept planned for the video. So sometime, I don't know if it's this week or next week, sometime soon they're going to be launching a Kickstarter, which is going to help fund the partially the video and then the manufacturing and stuff. They are an independent band, so all of their support comes from awesome people who support independent music. So keep an eye out for that, and definitely, if you don't know them, go check out their work. I've worked with them before on a couple other music videos. There's one called Love Is Forever, which was an animated music video that I directed for them and animated for them. The artist who did the art is Kat Philbin, who is an incredible pen and ink illustrator. And I took her illustrations that she did specifically for this, and I animated them kind of in a paper doll cutout fashion. So that was a fun video to work on with them. That was many years back, several years back. And then they have another music video for their song Electrical. I didn't direct that video, but in the middle of the video there is a animated sequence of robots, and I created that animated sequence in that video. It's a fun project. It's always cool when you get to work with friends. You guys know the drill. I got to do this spiel every now and again because people pop in and out of this live stream. So if you are just joining the live stream, you are watching Art Autopsy with me, Clint Carney. your host, and this is a bi-weekly live stream. I do this every other Thursday. I create a new painting, and I encourage everybody at home, if you are artistically inclined or just think you might want to give it a shot, get your art supplies together and make some art right alongside me. If you do make art, send me a picture of what you create during the live stream. My email address is clintcarneycreates@gmail.com, and I feature the work of people who watch this live stream on future live streams. So this episode we featured art by Liz, who goes by Phoenix as her artist name, and also by Jennifer Goupil. So if you didn't catch that after the stream, go back and watch the beginning part of the stream, and you can check out their amazing work that they contributed. So yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, you know what? Now that Julie said the thing about the legs, I'm gonna scratch my cricket idea and go with more normal legs. So let's again, we're just erasing with paint. Look at it go! Look at it go! No more cricket legs. Green gray. We're getting close to moving into oil, I think. Yeah, one thing I want to point out just about these live streams in general. Yeah, this leg is kind of getting lost. It's gonna work out the details later, but just give them a little hint of the leg. We'll figure that out later. But one thing about these live streams, for those of you who are just kind of starting painting and you want to get into it, even these live streams, they go 2-3 hours, and by the end of them, the paintings have progressed a lot from a blank canvas, sure, but you'll see they're never finished. They're never great by the end of these live streams. They're like 2 or 3 hours worth of work, right? But the point I want to make is that a painting is not finished until you say it's finished. So if you're working on a piece and you're not happy with the way it goes, the thing I always say is just keep painting until you don't hate it anymore. Because a lot of times people will give up on a painting or think that they're no good, and the reality of it is they just haven't put the hours in that the painting needs to become the complete version of itself. So just keep that in mind. Just put in the hours. And no one's good right away, right? It takes practice and time to get better, and let's see. I'm missing some chat here. Let's see. Getting a 1950s scientist who is president of the hair club for the for the dead vibe with this one. I love that. Excellent. So when I'm not doing a live stream, I've got a TV and a VCR right here. I'm switching over to oil now, by the way. Just squeezed out black. I'm just gonna start refining a few things with that, and then we'll figure out what colors later. But so I got a VCR, TV, and just a stupid collection of VHS tapes, and I watch a lot of old horror and sci-fi. So yeah, the 1950s comment is probably just a product of that. The other day, so I mean, I've got a large VHS collection. Love it. Have a lot from when I was younger, and some stuff that I got as an adult. But I also have friends that just have given me a lot of their VHS because I'm one of the few holdouts that still watches it. And my friend David gave me a whole ton of VHS, and some of them were these cool 50s and horror sci-fi films that I hadn't heard of before, and I watched one the other day. Oh, what was it called? It's called Teenagers from Outer Space, and it was so clearly a low budget movie like that. I mean, the acting was awful. There was just the main monster in it was, I shit you not, a fucking lobster. Like they just used the lobster and it was superimposed very poorly over the scene. It was supposed to be a giant lobster, and I loved it because it showed me, like, even in the 50s, you know, even 80 years ago, kids still got cameras and said, I want to make a movie, and they didn't have any money and they just made movies back then. And I fucking love that, you know, like, it doesn't have to, you know, just go make something if you want to. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It's just, it can just be fun, you know. So anyway, I don't know why I got off on the tangent of teenagers from outer space. Oh, because the Undead of Night had mentioned the 1950s thing. All right, this is the medium that I use, Liquid Original. I mix this with my oil paint. It accelerates dry time a little bit, you know, so if I come back to if I have enough of it mixed in with the paint and I come back to it tomorrow, it'll mostly be dry enough to throw another layer on, but it also thins out the paint. So when I get past the underpainting stage and I get into glazing color and stuff like that, I'll use the liquid again. That thins out the paint, and then I can build up in layers from there. It's a lot of fun. Okay, I'm just squeezing out color on the palette as I need it. I'm going to throw some cad yellow on the palette, and this is just a skink color here. I got a lot of colors that I don't normally work with recently because I'm really kind of pushing my limits with the color palette for this Gonzo Gardens painting I'm working on, and those colors somewhat made their way into this as well, although this is not the complete array of new colors I'm working with. So I might throw some crazy colors into this one as well. I like a good colorful piece. We'll see. Chet has seen Teenagers from Outer Space. Yeah, that was a good one. Good one if you like low budget films, which I absolutely do. My wife's tolerance for low budget films is not what mine is. Let's just say. So, but me, I love it. And I'm just throwing in a thin coat of this cadmium yellow. Again, so there are lots of different kinds of skinks. I'm just going off of my memory of the kinds that used to be in the aquarium shop that I worked at, and those ones were mostly yellow and white, maybe some brownish, or there's also the possibility that I'm completely misremembering them. In any case, this skink is going to be representative of the skinks in my flawed memory from 25 years ago, or however old I am. Okay, and then of course I'm going to throw on some titanium white on the ye old palette to do some blending. So thus far in the palette, I've got cadmium yellow, titanium white, lamp black, and I also squeezed out some phthalo turquoise, which I don't know how I'm going to fit it in here yet, but you know, just getting crazy with it. Threw some on the palette anyway. I would love to have a skink as a pet, actually, except for I think my cats would just devil it non-stop, and I don't want to put a poor little lizard through that kind of turmoil, so sadly I will probably be lizardless for the rest of my life, because I will always have a cat or two or more. At this art fair thing I was vending over the weekend, one of the vendors brought out some kittens that they had found in their backyard and they were trying to get rid of. And had I not been there to stop her, my wife would have taken those kittens home, and then I would end up with 4 cats instead of the 2. But usually it's my wife being the voice of reason preventing me from getting additional cats, but in this case it was me. This is one cool thing about doing the underpainting in acrylic is I can put my hand right on the canvas and it's not smearing the paint, which will not be the case with the oil as things progress. Did anyone see the teaser trailer for the upcoming reboot of Return of the Living Dead? They did a teaser, they dropped it at the end of last year or maybe the beginning of this year. It says it's coming out in around Christmas time. I mean, the teaser looks cool. It's well produced. It's got Tarman in it. The famous zombie from Return of the Living Dead, for those of you who don't know. But I'm leery. I would be lying if I said I wasn't leery of it, only because the original Return of the Living Dead is so good. It's just one of my favorites. And I don't want them to mess it up. But we will always have the original to go back to if they do. Remake doesn't negate the awesomeness of the original, and there's also a chance that they make it really cool, and then we'll have another cool movie. Recently, the missus and I recently did a little Return of the Living Dead marathon. Just 1, 2, and 3. I don't have 4 and 5, and she hasn't seen 4 and 5 yet. I should get them just to watch them again. They are not of the same caliber as well, nothing's of the same caliber as the first one, but the second one and third one have their charm. The 4 and 5 are pretty low budget, but I feel like when I watched them initially, I just didn't give them the full chance that I should. So I feel like I'm overdue for a revisit. If anybody has any opinions on 4 and 5, I think 4 is Rave to the Grave and 5 is Necropolis, or vice versa. Anyone see those? Love them? Hate them? Let me know. Okay, I'm kind of fucking him up here a bit. I went too bold with those shadows already, and he's a little wonky in the face, but we're going to fix his face with subsequent sessions on this painting. That's alright. Ain't no mistake you can make that you can't fix later. And again, I'm just making up this scale pattern. I could have it off completely, but that's okay, because if I get if I get deep in the woods with it and I like the way it looks and it doesn't look like the scale pattern of a skink, then we just we call it something else. It becomes some kind of fictional lizard, and you guys will be the only ones that know that I was endeavoring to capture the likeness of a skink. Oh, well, I was in Burbank today as well. Um, there's a VHS store called Be Kind Rewind that I had never been to before, so I popped in there, and tiny little shop, but they had a good selection of VHS. So if you're in Burbank, check it out. I don't make it out to Burbank. I used to live in Burbank for like a decade or more, but not any longer, so I don't make it out there all that often. But on Magnolia Boulevard, which is in fact the street I used to live on, there is just an explosion of horror themed shops. Let's see, I've been missing some of the chat here. Jennifer says there's a small theater in Fullerton that likes to do a live production of Return of the Living Dead. That would be awesome. I would love to see that. Let me know when it happens again. Maybe I'll make a trip out. Oh, Jennifer got one of Chet's summer surprise boxes. Very cool. And the Mad Outcast has joined. Thanks for joining. Yeah, man, we're not in Burbank anymore. Back in Valencia, which is also a cool place. Less traffic, that's for sure. Now I'm sneaking in that turquoise. I'm just making an excuse to use that phthalo turquoise here. That's going to become my shadow color for right now. It's a nice, fun, cool tone. Once I start throwing in more vibrant colors, it's really going to pop. Or so I think. Or maybe it won't. Maybe it will be god awful. People will throw rotten vegetables at me for using it. We're going to take that chance. You know, I'm kind of thinking now, again, I'll tell you, I like telling you guys what I'm going to paint, and I just change my mind like that. Because I'm an asshole like that. I'm thinking now maybe we do like color shift, right? So it starts yellow, and then maybe he does a fade. Kind of want to see, let's get a little bit of this yellow off the canvas here. Kind of want to see what it would look like kind of fading into like a cad red, you know, that could be fun. And then maybe even ending in like a magenta or something. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what we got here. Okay. I got cad red light hue, which is more of a orangish red than the cad red deep hue, which is more of a reddish red, like a fire engine red. But I think for what I'm gonna attempt to do right now, we want the light hue. So cad red light hue it is. Okay, I don't hate where that's going. And then let's have that carry over a little bit. So transitions, we'll finesse that as we go. Again, we're just blocking in some stuff, coming up with ideas right now. I'm gonna squeeze out some magenta on the old palette, and they're gonna end that tail in magenta. And then see if we can't work out a way to make that transition work. And if we can't, then you know the drill, we paint over it. Okay, I know that doesn't read well right now, but I'm going to take some titanium white and work on getting things shaped up a bit. And as the white starts to blend with the red and the magenta, then you'll see as those colors blend with the white, they'll start to pop more and hopefully look neat. And again, for right now, I'm kind of leaning into this. Going to be leaning into this phthalo turquoise for our shadow layer. But that being said, I am relying heavily on blending paints on the canvas with this titanium white and the red and the magenta. So I'm going to have to cool down the shadow side with the phthalo turquoise during another session, because if I start throwing it into the shadow side now, it is going to be a brown soup of colors. So I gotta be patient with how I handle that. I found this video on YouTube last week. It was one of those, how Facebook does the, it shows you your memories from, years ago, and there was a 13 years ago memory on Facebook, which was a link to a YouTube video that someone had taken at Art Autopsy when it used to be a live in-person event at Hyena Gallery, and it was really cool to see. It first off, it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but once I saw me 13 years ago, I realized just how far away 13 years was. I was a lot younger and less gray, and but it was really cool, and it kind of made me miss doing these as in-person events, and I hope that one day we can do some special versions of this live stream in person, so that you guys or anyone who wants can come out and actually make art with me in person. I think that would be super fun, and that video made me nostalgic for the time when we were doing that every month. And I gotta dig that video up again, and I'll post it on my Patreon and stuff. Oh, by the way, not to give the hard sell for Patreon, but there's also a free version of my Patreon. So if you want to sign up for that for free, you won't see everything in the free account, but you will get notified when there's like new live streams and live events and things like that. So it's a good way to keep up, because if you're just following me on social media, there's a good chance you're going to miss a lot, since they really tend to curate, that's the word, right? What people see from people they're following. So if you want to actually not miss anything, sign up for the Patreon, even the free version, and you'll be notified when I'm doing live events or doing the live streaming, or etc., etc., etc. Yeah, I kind of like the transitioning. Obviously, it's going to need some finessing. Right now, it kind of looks like a limp corn on the cob, but it comes together in stages, you know. You got to trust the process. Trust that I know that it's going to turn into something cool, even if it's not something cool at the moment. Man, Outcast says, "Paint me a bicycle clown." Oh, that's right. I think it needs a bicycle clown in here. Maybe we'll fit one in. Maybe in the background, just for you, Jake. Let's see what else. What else is happening in the chat here? Wow, Liz, you've had a very busy last 13 years. Okay, I'm just going to throw some bullshit paint on his arms real quick, and then we're going to get back into our main character here. Or maybe the main character is the skink. We don't know. But yeah, I gotta make some progress. We've been working. You guys have been watching me paint lizard scales for too long. I'm sure you want to see me move on. I want to see me move on. So we're gonna move on. But let's get something on these arms. And again, I'm just blobbing in color, getting the gist of where it's going. There'll be plenty of time to refine that in the future, and I'm going to just very quickly dip back into acrylic to fix the outline here where the shape has gotten unruly. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our dude here. I feel like he should be some kind of crazy color, right? I mean, we're already established. We're gonna get into some crazy colors here with this one. Let's see what I got. Let's see what's lying around here. Go to yield bucket of paint here. All right, I have an idea. I don't know if this is a good idea, but we're going to do it anyway. And we're going to find out. If it sucks, we'll redo it. So, main skin tone on here, because he is going to have some skin, even though he's very skeletal. You'll see. He's going to have skin. And I'm thinking of going, because we're doing the phthalo turquoise on the shadow, normally I would do something kind of opposite or whatever, but I'm, again, just going to do something crazy, and I'm going to make his main skin tone radiant turquoise, which is kind of like a baby blue color. It's going to be more complex than that, but that's going to be the base, and I might be completely fucking things up with this decision right now, but it also might turn into something cool and unexpected, so let's see what happens, shall we? And I'm mixing this up with the liquid, just getting it kind of thin at first, even though it's not going on thin. like I said, the acrylic always gets covered anyway. And you see I put a little bit of that phthalo turquoise shadow under there already, and now I can just blend that right in with this brilliant turquoise. Give him like a cool bluish, total Dawn of the Dead 1978 bluish hue. Yeah, just really push it crazy, and then we'll do something different with the background to make this turquoise pop. You know, I have to consult ye old color wheel to see kind of what's going to work well with that turquoise color, but. Now, we're just winging it. And we're finger painting. Yeah, I'm not minding that, you know. Again, very very turquoise based now, but again, in subsequent layers, we're going to introduce some other colors into the mix and make it more complex. But for right now, simple, brilliant turquoise as our light color, phthalo turquoise as our shadow color on our skin. And I'm just using that phthalo turquoise to draw in little shadow details, our little wrinkles and such, because what's a zombie without some nice wrinkles? Yeah, we probably have to reshape his head a bit, but how am I going to do it right now? Keep going with it, and we'll perhaps reshape it later. Chet's asking what color wheel to use. Well, I'll tell you, I have a one that I normally go to, and I cannot for the life of me find it. So I just picked up this little cheapo one from somewhere, Michael's or one of those big box art stores, and it's just this little pocket color wheel thing, you know, kind of standard stuff, but does the trick. And anyone who is not used to using a color wheel, right here, the real basics of it, you can use, there's a little chart right here which tells you opposite of each other are going to be complementary colors. So if we look at like our kind of turquoise base color here, so we can see opposite of that, the complementary color is like this reddish orange. But it also has little graphs where you can see split complementaries, triads, tetrads, and so forth. So you can really use this little thing to build some cool combos of color if you're not super up on color theory and how they play off of each other. It's a great reference, and I go back to it all the time anyway, because you know, I have the basics in my head, but sometimes when I'm doing trying out new things and I'm not sure if they're going to work, the color wheel can tell you a lot about that in advance of fucking up a painting with the wrong color. But at the same time, sometimes it's fun to choose something that is technically wrong if you have a good idea. If you have a good idea, if you have a compelling enough reason to use it, why not? But color wheels, they're like a couple bucks. Definitely worthwhile to have one on hand. Okay, so obviously in this underpainting here, the eye sockets were very skeletal, but now we're giving them a little bit of a flesh tone, so we're just going to use that as a guide for the shape of the eyelids and things like that. But he's going to end up having a little bit of skin around the eye socket area. Oh, you use the same color wheel? Nice. Nice. Yeah, the other one that I had that was like just the one I've been using for years. I mean, it's essentially the same thing. It was just bigger, and I always have it tacked up on my wall behind my easel. Um, and then I moved, and I couldn't figure out what box I stuck it in, and I was too lazy to dig through all the boxes, so I just bought a new one. Okay. And so we're going to build build them out a little bit. Again, we're keeping it's sometimes it's cool even when you're not doing a skull, but you're doing a character to start with a skull because then you have the exact reference of how that of the shape that your skin is going to stretch across the bone with. I have probably, if I had to guess, I would say skulls are probably the thing that I have drawn the most in my life. Second is probably squirrels, but skulls are definitely in that number one slot. I've got lots of references for those. I have quite the skull collection. You know what? Actually, as I'm working on this, now that I'm getting this blue in there, it's kind of reminding me a bit of They Live. Great movie. I'm gonna steer it away from that. I've already done one They Live painting for a tribute to John Carpenter's show many years ago, so I don't need to do another one, but it is having those vibes a bit. We gotta figure out what kind of a nose we want to give him. And what we want to do about the lips, I definitely want some of his teeth to show through, so maybe we'll just do one of those deals where most of his lips are kind of rotted away and revealing a lot of his teeth, you know, like a mummy, you know, where you can they've got lips, but they're got that rictus grin going on. Again, we're still early stages. Keep in mind, after this live stream is long over, there's going to be many hours put into this to refine it and get it to a piece that I would want to show to people. But you guys get to see the early stages of things, how things start out. Certainly this one's going through a goofy stage, but that's okay. They often do. You just got to keep painting until it's in the shape that you want it to be in. So I still wanted to have some kind of a skeletal nose, but it's going to be the flesh and cartilage is going to be a little rotted away, so it's going to be there will be a hint of a nose, but it will be pretty in pretty rough shape. now let's grab some titanium white and start hitting some highlights. Oh man, I got acrylic paint and oil on the same palette here, and I keep accidentally dipping my brush in the in the acrylic. That's all right. I figure it out eventually. Oh, Chet, you're in that Carpenter show as well. What painting? Or yeah, what did you contribute to that one? Oh, you did a Death Race one, right? If I remember correctly. I think, or am I wrong? If so, correct me. That was cool, man. That was another one at Hyena, and John Carpenter came out. Got to meet him. Um, he was exactly as I thought he would be. It was very cool of him to come out and support the gallery and the artists and stuff. That was fun. Hyenas had a pretty good track record of getting cool guests coming out for their tribute shows. They did a Wes Craven one. He came out for that. They did a why am I blanking on his name? Reanimator. Who directed Reanimator? Well, Stuart Gordon. Stuart Gordon tribute show. He came out for that. So I was very happy to have got to meet both of them before they passed, because I was a big fan of their films, and really cool when you get to meet someone whose art has had an effect on you, on your life. And once I started working in the film industry, the first film I ever worked on, first big film I ever worked on, was a Wes Craven movie. So, but I didn't meet him then. Well, I just did a painting for a film, but didn't meet him until years later at Hyena Gallery, and really cool to get to meet him. And he bought my painting, which was even cooler. Yeah, Wes Craven, at least my experience with him and everything I've heard from other people who knew him, like actually knew him, he seems like he was just the coolest, nicest dude ever. And I feel privileged that I got to interact with him. Oh, the Thing painting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember that one too. Oh yeah, Death Race was for something else. That's right. Uh, oh, cool. Did you work on a film with him, Chet, or did you? How did you meet him? By the way, Matt Apcast and Julie, you guys have met before at Art Autopsy, and when it was at Hyena. For the record, just so you know. It's kind of cool to just to have people that used to show up to the live event all those years ago now show up to the live stream. And Jake, I'm going to put you on the spot, man. Are you painting while you watch? Haven't seen any paintings from you in a while. I'm going to start pestering you till you start churning them out. Okay, yeah, it's going together. Again, he's going to be a little goofy, but you know what? I'm gonna pull this painting out real quick just to show you guys. So this is a painting, yeah, from one of the previous art autopsies, and this one, I really love this one now. It's super fun, you know, just kind of 1980s video store zombie based on that mask of mine, by the way. But it was having kind of the similar kind of campy vibe when I was working on it. It still has a campy vibe, but you know, intentionally. But I see this painting right here fitting really well next to that one. I think by the time it's done, obviously many hours left to go here, but I can tell it's going to be a fun one that I'll enjoy continuing to work on for the next couple weeks. Let's see, Jake is working on a script. Nice. That's awesome. Pupil is too big. Let's just do that. Hey, look at that magic. Magically erased. Oh, damn it. I keep dipping my brush in the acrylic. You know what I gotta do? I gotta just scoop this remaining acrylic paint off of scrape it off of my palette, because I am getting tired of accidentally going to it instead of my oil paint here. Okay, there, problem solved. Okay, where were we? Eyeballs. Eyeballs. We were on eyeballs. Oh, you worked on Cursed, chat. Sorry, I'm behind on the chat. I'm reading it all up and down. My buddy Skip worked on that. He was one of the prop dudes on it. In fact, I don't know if you know Skip Crank. I also want to say my other friend JP Jones was probably also on the prop team on that, because they both together did a lot of Wes's movies. How I came to work on Screen 4, or no, work on it. I had some art in it. Okay. I'm thinking about, I'm just talking out loud here, guys, but what do you think of this idea? I'm thinking about maybe for the next art autopsy, or at least one in the future, just having, asking people on, probably on Patreon, well, definitely on Patreon, but also on different social, on my different social media and stuff, to just leave like a comment with a noun, like just a single word, and then I'll go through and take all of those, or a lot of those suggestions that will of course be completely unrelated, and try to form a cohesive art autopsy painting from those. I thought that might be fun and a good way to get people involved. What do you think of that idea? Let me know. Does it suck? Would you participate? Would you lend me your noun? Okay, let's do a little work on the teeth here. Already got some cad yellow on the old palette from the skink, so I'm just going to lay in a thin amount of that over his teeth, get them nice and buttery, and then we're going to look at that. He has not brushed his teeth in a long time, and man, is his breath suffering for it. But we're going to give him a nice glow up and polish him up a bit here. Look at that. Oh, look at that tooth. Nice and pretty now. And I'm just, again, put one color on, and then you can go in and just mix it right on the old canvas. And I'll probably give him like really dark gums, maybe even probably for this session I'll stick with the phthalo turquoise on the gum color, but next session, to darken them up a bit, I might even throw in I don't know, mix up mix up maybe like cobalt blue with some lamp black, just to get a really dark blue, or not, or I will do none of that, or I have just lied to you, and they'll have bright and vibrant gums to go with his buttery teeth. There's no way of knowing until I actually do it. Oh, you made a fake dog for it. Nice. Oh, cool. Thanks for input, guys, on the user input for the paintings. I did one thing I did. I think I did this, like, I don't know how long Art Autopsy ran, the live event. I think it was like 3 years, maybe 4 years. It ran for a while. But one thing I would do, I did it once a year, and I guess it must have been 3 years, because I only did it 3 times as far as I can remember. But actually, people would submit photos, and it was usually a photo of themselves or of a pet or whatever, and then I would do these stupidly complex amalgam paintings of everything that everyone had submitted, or at least I had to curate it a bit because I got a lot of submissions, but I would take like 10 different images and try to put them together into a single painting. And of course, none of them matched, so I had to figure out how to get them all to work together, and it was kind of fun. It was a fun experiment, and certainly pushed the limits of what I could do. Trying to create a good composition out of stuff that was not meant to go together. But fun as it was, the end result was always a painting that was perhaps not the most aesthetically pleasing. To be kind. But I could be wrong, but I actually think, in spite of that, though, I think that all sold. So that's the silver lining. Yeah, maybe I don't even need a darker blue in here. This Phthalo turquoise is actually working out all right. So let's point this out right now. You can see at this stage, this is very flat, right? Like these teeth, they're all on the same plane. There's not a lot going on in terms of depth or roundness of shape, you know, that you would see normally. But that's just the way I paint. Again, I tend to work in thin layers and build up and build up and build up. So the shading and the curvature of all of this stuff, it comes together in subsequent layers. So again, if you keep up with me on yield socials and such, you'll see how things progress, and eventually it will turn into something that looks cool. These paintings tend to start out flat, but that's just the process, you know. Probably, I don't know what I'm going to do for the background on this painting, to be honest. Haven't got that far. I'm doubtful that I'm going to decide today what I'm going to do with the background. What I will do today, though, is block in a color that will be just a base color for whatever the background becomes. And again, we're going to use the color wheel here, so you can see I can hold this right up to here, and I can try to find kind of the closest color, which is this, you know, this blue green is, you know, close to the turquoise. So we can see opposite of this blue green we have our red orange. So I'm going to push the color palette very far eventually, but probably just as a base layer for that red orange, I'll start with some iron oxide red, and you'll see. That's where I'm going with it. Let's yeah, why not? Let's start throwing some color in the background. Just get some shapes on. Transparent oxide red, not iron oxide red. I don't know why I always say that wrong. And I'm just mixing it in with a little bit of liquid on my palette right here. Save some of that paint rather than it all going to waste. So this transparent oxide red, just by itself going on like this, looks pretty brown, but you'll see start working some white into it or other colors, and it can do some pretty fun stuff. Again, something's going to be happening down here in the line of sight of the skink, but I don't know what that is yet, and I'm not going to worry about it now. I'm just painting over my rough ideas. Get some more liquid on the palette. You know, the only thing, my only complaint about liquid is that sometimes it's really hard to get the lid off, and then the lid like breaks in two, like eventually. I don't think I've ever made it through a bottle of liquid without something going wrong with the lid. So to the good people at Winsor Newton, fix your liquid lids, please. I'm just trying to get a base coat of this transparent oxide red layered in on do one side at a time. Get this layered in, and then I'm going to start throwing some white on top of it, and it will magically do some cool shit. So bear with me while I just get this color laid down. But I mean, look already, right? I mean, just right there. Look how much he pops now, just next to that. I mean, again, color wheels, man, they work. You put two complementary colors next to each other, and your colors really start to pop. Let's see, it is 8:46. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm good to go for a little bit more stretch of time at least, but eventually I gotta drop off and do some illustration work tonight. But I want to get this canvas pretty saturated with paint before I call it a night. I don't want to see any of my underpainting showing through. Okay, so we'll come to that next side next, but I just want to show you guys. So you lay that down, it's kind of thinned out a bit with the liquid. Now I can start taking some of this, this is just titanium white. Start laying it in and blending it. We're going to create a little gradient here in the back. So I want it to be brighter toward him. We're going to create kind of like a little halo effect around him. So we start with it bright by him. We work it out into, we keep blending it outward into the color. And then, as you go, your brush is going to get muddy. You're going to start to get more of the color on it. So you just wipe it as needed. And I'm going to work more white back in here. Once again, just work it out toward the edges. Obviously, well, as I said before, something is going to be happening in the background. There's going to be a little scene he's going to be in. It's going to be more than just this color or this gradient. But getting the basic tone of what I want that background worked out at this stage just helps me visualize where it's going to eventually go. Oh, Travis is watching. That's my brother. That's my brother, folks. Oh, Chet, I've never used the fine detail. I think like when I discovered how awesome the original was, I just got hung up on using that, and it was kind of the first medium that like I really was digging, and I hadn't never went and messed around with the other versions of it, but I really need to, because yeah, I'll give that fine detail one a shot. Okay, anyway, yeah, let's just get this background laid in, then we're gonna work on his shirt and then his hair, and then our canvas will probably be just about soaked in paint at that point. So we'll see if there's anything left we can do. We might at that point get to the point where we have to call it a night if we're just pushing paint around. Yeah, we don't want to turn our work into mud. There's something sticking through the back of this. I think there's like a pebble or something there behind my behind the canvas and the frame. So, for those of you who have joined recently, sorry for everyone else who has to hear the spiel again. You are watching Art Autopsy. This is a bi-weekly live streaming art event that I do every other Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time on the Clint Carney Creates YouTube channel. I am your host, Clint Carney, and I'm a professional artist who does a lot of work in the film and television industry. And this is a live event where I encourage everybody watching, if you are artistically inclined or artistically curious, to get some art supplies together, even if it's just a piece of paper and a crayon, whatever your medium of choice is. Just make some art with me. Set up, get your art supplies set up, watch me paint, join in the chat, but also make your own art. And if you do make a piece of art during this live stream and you'd like to show it off, I would certainly love to see it. So please feel free to email it to me. My email address is clintcarneycreates@gmail.com, and I will showcase it on the next live stream if you would like me to. Or if you just want to show it to me and you want to keep it private, just let me know in the email too. But if not, yeah, I'll show it to everyone who watches on the next live stream. And if you've tuned in late, it's worthwhile to go back after the stream is over and just watch the top part of the stream, and you can see the showcase of the other talented artists that submitted after the last live stream. Lots of cool stuff, and yeah, happy to have you guys here watching me. I feel like I'm getting more efficient as time goes on with the little spiel for the for the show. But I used to just ramble on. Now I only slightly ramble on. Okay, you know what we're going to do too, and by we I mean me. Obviously, this background color works fantastic for making the blue of his skin pop, but you know where it doesn't work is with this skink, because now the skink is getting lost in the mix, because the skink is made up of yellow, red, and magenta, which is just too similar to this this red that we're having in the background. So, not right now, because now there's just a thick ass layer of paint that is very wet, but in a subsequent version of this, or a subsequent session on this painting, we will let this background color evolve into another color here that's going to make that pop out. You can see, let me show you, similarly, on this, how this kind of shifts color as it goes. This is not finished yet, but you just kind of, yeah, I'm not committing to it just being a solid color in the background, obviously. But we want the skink to stand out as well. So we don't want him to blend too far into the background, but we will worry about him at another date and time. Yeah, he's feeling, you know, if you tune in now and you're like, what the hell am I looking at? He is looking a bit cartoony right now, but again, that's just this stage of the painting. A lot of my paintings go through that stage just because I work in layers and build it up. It can look flat for the first few sessions, but as I continue to work colors in, I find a way to give it more shape and dimension, and hopefully, if I do my job right, by the end of the painting, it's going to look nice and three-dimensional. And I'm just, because he's going to have darker hair, so I'm just going with our same phthalo turquoise right there. Just laying that in. And I'll just touch it with a small amount of the vibrant turquoise and just give it little hints of hair. We're going to give more detailed hair as we continue on with the painting, but for right now, that does the trick. Same with the shadow under his chin here. Just keep it this phthalo turquoise. And we're going to see a little highlight here, maybe for his Adam's apple. Maybe a little tendon. But not going to do a lot of detail there. At least not now. Okay. All right, now it's shirt and tie time for this dude. Again, I'll probably eventually bring his hand up or something in the foreground here. I'm just not going to do it tonight because I already threw away my chances of doing that by putting in the background paint so thick. Let's see. Hey, all right, Chet's got to go walk the dog. Hey, thanks for watching, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you checking it out. On Dead of Night, the background has a bit of a Basil Gogos look. Well, thank you. Oh, and Julie's left too. Bye, Julie. Bye, Chet. Thanks, man. Love Basil Gogos' work. He was a very talented dude. All right, because I already have it. I want to keep the color palette, so even though it is getting a little crazy, I also don't want to go too crazy with it. So I'm going to use a color for his shirt that I already have on the palette, which is this magenta color. It's the color that the skink's tail morphs into at the end, and that's going to be his shirt color right here. And then after we get this laid in roughly, we're going to go back to the color wheel and we're going to see what the complementary color is for this, and that's going to be the color of his tie. Also, again, just spamming again for those who have just joined us. I just today added a bunch of new canvas prints to my website, to clintcarney.com. So if you enjoy what I do and you want to support, I have a Patreon if you want to do that, but a lot of people don't want the monthly expense, which I understand. So you can also get these cool gallery wrapped canvas prints. They're open edition, so we can keep the price down. Gallery wrapped, ready to hang. Pretty cool. Yeah, so there's a ton of them up on my website now. Check it out. Yeah, I kind of like this shirt color on them. It's pretty cool. Obviously, just blocking it in here. It's we'll refine it, give it some highlights and stuff, and make it look more like it's cloth as we go. But just as a base color, pretty fun color palette on this painting. All right. And we just, again, come in with a titanium white. Throw in some highlights, blend it right in with the wet paint. All right, I'm not gonna go crazy with the shirt detail just yet. Okay, and again, let's show you how awesome the color wheel is. We got, I'll pull up the painting right here so we can see that the red violet is closest to our magenta, and right opposite the color wheel you have a yellowish green. So that's the color I'm gonna go with this tie, which will be a color that is not present anywhere else in the painting, so it's going to be our kind of special color, and I'm going to find a way to make that pop later. I'm going to start out with this Holland's Geel green, yellow, I was reading the non-English version. In English, it says yellow green, so it's actually already right in the neighborhood of what we want. So this should pop really well off of here, and then as the painting progresses, we'll find another way to work in this color so that it can pop in one other just real small area. It's kind of a Joker color palette here for his wardrobe. And I'm just going to, on my palette here, just mix in a little bit of the phthalo turquoise with the magenta just to create a little bit of a deeper purple, which I am then just going to thin out and just kind of rough in some shadows on the wardrobe here. Okay, well, hey, calling it on this guy. The canvas is soaked in paint. I couldn't get any more paint on there if I tried. Gotta let it dry so I can move on with the next layer. And of course, we're gonna spend another probably 10 hours on this bad boy, getting detail popped in. So yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. Really means a lot to me that you guys tuned in, and I'll be doing this again in 2 weeks. In the meantime, follow me on all the social network stuff. Follow me over on Patreon. There's also a free tier if you just want to keep up to date on upcoming events and things like that. And just catching up on the comments here. Thank you guys all so much. All right, that's it. I got to go do some drawings for a TV show now, so got to call it a night on the painting. Again, thanks, guys. Next time. See you then.